So I used to think that high repetitions were what you did if you just wanted to build like endurance and quote tone, and that high repetitions would not build muscle. But it turns out that that's not true, and I know that from personal experience. I know that from also observing others, and even also science even shows that as well. So in this video, you see me doing the exercises that I do today on Mondays, which are dips and chin ups. I also do push ups and rows, body weight rows. And with the dips, I'm doing 250 reps before the day is out, and then I'm doing 100 chin ups before the day is out. And typically, I do it like I might take um, like maybe 10 minutes every now and then throughout the day to kind of get in chunks of reps. And a lot of times I also have like one main workout that might be anywhere between 30 minutes and 1 hour, and get as many reps in as I can. But anyhow, so with my dips, I'm doing 75 reps. 75 reps. Now that sounds like a whole lot. Um, but I have noticed that my triceps have grown. Now, I'm not the biggest person, but again, for me, I have definitely noticed a um a change in size, that my sleeves are starting to fill in a little bit more, and then also I've noticed a little more definition. I also notice whenever I do all these repetitions that I actually can really fatigue the muscle, which I've learned is actually important for muscle hypertrophy, or in other words, muscle growth. Now, one of my favorite podcasts, the Huberman Lab podcast, the host Andrew Huberman, he's interviewed this guy named Dr. Andy Galpin a few times, and Dr. Andy Galpin is like he's a professor as well, and he studies stuff having to do with muscle growth, muscle strength, muscle endurance, exercise. I think physiology really is like his bread and butter. And there's a episode that he's interviewed by Andrew Huberman. In particular, he talks about sets and reps for building muscle. And if you're like me and you've been doing weightlifting or strength training for a while, you've probably heard, okay, 3 sets of 10. Or if you're doing sets, you want to do maybe 3 to 5 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions to build muscle. Okay. Now, that's what I grew up learning about ever since I was a teenager up until really now. But Dr. Galpin says that 4 to 30 reps um, is actually good for building muscle. Now, he had a few kind of like key sub points there. So first of all, when you're doing 4 to 30 reps, he's talking about you getting close to failure on every set, like in failure being momentary muscular failure, like within 2 reps, like where you may have only 2 more good reps in you, um, or at least getting to momentary failure on the last set, at least. Okay. He also said that doing the same exercises over and over again rather than just like switching up, it's not a problem. And the most important thing is to be consistent. Another thing that Dr. Galpin says is over the course of the week, 10 to 20 sets per muscle group. So that's like, for example, if for chest, you're doing 5 sets of regular push ups, 5 sets of decline push ups, um, you know, 5 sets of bench press, and maybe 5 sets of dips, for example, to get 20 total sets. And you're going pretty hard on all of those and going to failure at least, to the very least, on the last set, if not getting close to failure every set. Okay, so that's obviously some work. But what I have learned is I used to think, I think a little incorrectly about building muscle, and it's probably why I got less results than I wanted to. Um, but you really need to stimulate the muscle to grow. Like, fatigue is important. Now, that said, I don't think I can expect to get like a 1 pound dumbbell and lift that like 1,000 times and like see any muscle growth. Like, that's way too light, and as evidenced by the repetitions. Um, but yeah, so that's that. Another thing that I see as evidence for high reps building muscle is, if you've ever looked online, to see like people who do these calisthenics workouts in parks and stuff like that. These people build very impressive physiques without lifting one weight. All they do is push ups and variations of those, dips and variations of those, pull ups and variations of those, and so on and so forth. And they build actually a decent amount of muscle. Now, they're not necessarily like bodybuilders, but some of them are relatively close to that. And depending on whatever their repertoire is, as far as like the amount of different kind of exercises they choose, they can get a lot of good symmetry as well. You know, like a symmetrical overall good physique. Now, I'm linking to a video that I saw many years ago. Is older gentleman. He's like 60 years old at that time, and he was explaining to the guy interviewing him. They were in some park somewhere up in New York, I think. He's explaining how he does 700 push-ups a day, like 500 in the morning and then another 200 in the afternoon sometime. That is a lot of reps. I've done a lot of reps of push-ups, for example. I've never done that many. But if you look at the dude's physique, and he's like 60 in that video, his physique looks really, really good for any age, any age. He looks better than most people, regardless of age. Um, but how many sets do you have to do to get 700 push-ups? How many reps are you doing per set? You know, that is like a lot of muscular fatigue going on there. So I have a feeling that he gets a very, very high rep count. I don't know how many, but he gets a very high rep count, and it's obviously worked for him. Okay. So like I said, I linked to that video in the description. And then finally, like I said, with me doing all these dips and stuff like that, like I say, 75 per set. Usually after I do the first set, if I'm doing multiple sets at one time, I might get 75 the first set and then 50 with subsequent sets because my triceps are really fatigued. But I have personally noticed growth. I have. And I'm saying that to say don't let not having weights be an excuse, and don't necessarily be too concerned about whether you have the perfect workout if you're doing calisthenics or whatever, or you're lifting weights but you're kind of lifting lighter weights. Stimulate the muscle. Stimulate the muscle to failure. Aim for 10 or 20 sets per week per body part or muscle group. Get as many reps. Now, I'm obviously getting over the 30 reps that Dr. Galpin recommends, but I've seen good results. And I believe for sure that it's because I'm truly stimulating the muscle. Like if you do 75 reps of chair dips, and you'll see exactly what I mean. Now, all that said, as I conclude this video, it could be inefficient to be going for like 50, 75 reps a set. It could be. And what I mean by that is you probably could get better results with doing, maybe 10 reps per set if you're truly fatiguing the muscle. You might get results quicker. The reason why I'm okay with that inefficiency is because I like calisthenics. So it's just a matter of my own preference, and it's easy to do if you don't have a gym membership or you can't go to the gym for some reason. In other words, it makes it where you have no excuse. Let me know what you guys think. Do you do high rep calisthenics? Okay. And if so, what kind of results have you seen? As we get older, it becomes increasingly important to maintain and build muscle. Muscle helps you burn fat, stay mobile, and can contribute to longevity. However, many people have no idea how to work out to build muscle. My mini workout series on Patreon provides you with my body weight mini workout video library. These workouts use little to no equipment, which means that you can do them in the privacy of your own home. They start at beginner level and progress from there to ensure you continue to see results. Every workout is a full body workout, hitting chest, back, legs, and glutes, as well as other muscles in between. Become a patron today and receive access to my series of mini workouts, plus access to a digital copy of my book, 8 Weeks to Transform Your Diet and Your Health. By combining the workouts with healthy diet changes, as outlined in my book, you'll definitely be on your way to weight loss, improved health, and visible results. Join me at patreon.com/SeanB2B Fitness today.